We see canal as a big blessing, how close it is to us. You know, you hear people refer to canal with different ways. I just feel it's a blessing because, you know, it's how hard, you know, these people work. You see them every morning.
For the Marin Council of Chambers, I'm Stephanie Plant, and this is We Are One Marin. Picture yourself, for a moment, in the heart of Marin County, San Rafael, California. A town with many distinct neighborhoods, East San Rafael is home to the Canal neighborhood. It's one that marries cultural diversity and economic vitality. There are a few industrial districts there also. And today, Kalina and I find ourselves in a former Star Wars warehouse, seated between a life-size cardboard C-3PO and several crates of imported dates, nuts, and cucumbers. Welcome to United with Earth, distributor of specialty ethnic products, owned by a self-described Iranian Jewish immigrant.
I think I came here thinking I am, you know, amongst a few, but I was amongst a bigger, and I just had to discover it and also feel comfortable about sharing about my past.
He's not just comfortable, but maybe even thriving after putting his PhD in psychology to use, selling dates. Join us for some dating advice as we learn how Marin works.
Hi, my name is Daryoush Davidi.
Welcome to We Are One Marin. We're delighted to have you. Welcome to East San Rafael.
Yes.
I know you've been in the area just a little under a year. An anniversary coming up?
Yeah, so we moved to our warehouse here in San Rafael back in October, and it's been really exciting to be part of the neighborhood, part of this diverse community. It's been exciting just to see how well we've been received, you know, by the neighbors, even by the city. We had the mayor of San Rafael come here, cut the ribbon ceremony for us, Mayor Kate Collins. That was really a big deal. So it's nice to feel so welcomed, yes.
I appreciate hearing that, and I know that our colleagues at the San Rafael Chamber of Commerce will also appreciate hearing
that.
Yes,
I should give them a shout out too, because the Chamber of Commerce is the one who brokered that relationship, and we also had a certificate from Mark Levine, the assembly member. So it was a nice entry to this San Rafael.
I can see that certificate in a frame right over your shoulder. That's so great.
Yes, it's right there.
Well, you know, business is a really big part of what keeps towns going, and East San Rafael is a vibrant economic engine.
Right.
I run a business that belonged to my grandfather before me, started in this neighborhood over 50 years ago. Wow. So I'm really dedicated to this community also. We should probably tell our listeners what you do here at United with Earth.
So United with Earth, it's a distributor of specialty ethnic product. I mean, every year we try to like define my identity, who I am. But I think it's kind of that's what we do. We're like ethnic distributors. Because, you know, we don't sell like onions and potatoes. We sell dates, figs, walnuts, Persian cucumbers.
I read that that's actually kind of an almost bigger market than the dates for you.
It's huge, yeah. So we try to like source product from places that we know the people. And also it's my way of introducing our past, who I am, you know, through food. So that's kind of where the connection happens.
I think what do they say? The way to someone's heart is through their stomach.
That's true. That's true.
I think it's a really beautiful way to introduce that culture and your past. You grew up much, much farther away.
Yes.
Maybe you could tell us a little bit about your childhood. Take us to Iran and what it was like for you as a young person, if you would.
Born in 1975. At the time I was born, it was sort of like the renaissance of Iran, the Persian Empire. And it was such a thriving country at the time, very westernized. They were really hungry to connect with Western ideas, to bring more influences, just become more of a part of the world. And then unfortunately, in 1979, there was a big revolution, and that overthrew the past government. So I started first grade when post-revolution, and my background being Jewish had a lot of impact on me, kind of growing up in a country that was led by extremists. So I had to like grow up fast.
I mean, that seems like such an understatement in a way. Like kids, we say, oh yeah, the kids are growing up fast these days because they have a cell phone in their pocket. But you had a revolution going on around you.
Right. I remember on the first day of school when I went, they burned the U.S. flag. Also on the same day, they burned the Israeli flag. So at a young age, I had to like learn how to adapt, how to, connect with people and how to kind of be street smart. And then when I went home, told my parents about what there happened, they were shocked, not surprised because, that sentiment was kind of in Iran post-revolution. So then our family decided to flee from Iran and come to America. So at the age of 12, my parents left and we moved to, we immigrated, escaped from Iran to come to America.
I mean, I'm sure some of our listeners know a lot about what was going on in Iran at that time and some don't. So maybe you could enlighten us just a little bit. But Israel and Palestine were so wrapped up in what was going on, and Iran sort of chose, right? And they chose Palestine.
Right. But you'd be surprised right now. Like, I visit Israel, you see Palestinian Israelis living side by side. There's a lot of stuff in the media. But overall, I think there is room to grow. And right now you see like countries like the Saudi Arabias are really close ties with Israelis. You see like Dubai and all the other Qatar, all these other countries. So it's like the old sentiments of like Arabs versus Jews. It's really changed. And it's really like, it's very eye-opening, promising to see like, people can get along.
That's a very hopeful statement. I hope that the Americans can hear you.
Yes, the world.
Yes. So do you have siblings?
I do. So there's 3 of us. I have an older brother and a younger brother. When we came here, my parents told us either you become a doctor or a lawyer, or else you bring shame on the family. And
you have a doctorate, yes?
Yeah, I have a PhD in psychology. My older brother became an attorney. So when we came here, I don't think people know how good America is until they leave. You know what I mean? I feel grateful living in the U.S. Where else can an Iranian Jewish immigrant come here with no money and find a home and build a home and thrive? And I think the message of like immigrants coming here and they're bad for us, it's not accurate. There's circumstances where people come here, take advantage of our resources, but overall, I think this country was built on immigrants, our ideas.
Absolutely.
And, not just agriculture, technology. You look at some of these brilliant minds that come into Silicon Valley. When you trace the background, most of them come from like other parts of the world, or the people who are developing the software, the people on the backstage. And I think that's a message that we need to like kind of get out there. That's like being diverse, being different. It's what America is about. It's what, this country was founded on the basis of like, kind of like when you see the Statue of Liberty, bring me your sick, bring me your poor, I'll feed that. I'm kind of misquoting that famous line. But that's what I think United with Earth in some ways tries to be. As much as we're a corporation, but we also want to be diverse, be inclusive, work with farmers, help advocate for farmers, people who work here, it's, conscious effort who we bring in. So I always try to project my past into where I'm at and find a way to connect. And also, the product that we sell comes originally dates and figs. This was pretty much part of our staple diet in Iran growing up. This was kind of like our beef jerky, like this is what you ate. Here my kids ask for a snack, like when I ask my mom for a snack, you can have a date or a fig or a pistachio. And I think right now people are discovering actually these are what, superfruits. This is what gives you energy. So trying to sell healthy stuff.
Call it a superfruit, and us health-conscious Marinites are going to eat it, right?
Definitely.
Can we talk about how you get from a PhD in psychology to selling dates and what your mother thinks about that? Since she gave you a demand.
Right. Yeah. So we came to this country. My mom was selling dry fruits and nuts,
Oh, so she was already doing it, but don't do as I do.
Right. So we're a typical immigrant family. I would go to school in the morning and then help the family business. And then went to school, got my PhD in psychology. And I grew up in LA, and so a friend of mine said, why don't you come and, come to San Francisco. Just come, get a little fresh air. I think at that time I was 29, 28. So I came to San Francisco, and I saw there's a huge market for dates that nobody had tapped into. Because when you think of Bay Area, people are well-traveled, well-educated. They're health conscious. And at the time I saw the quality of dates that were being sold here was crystallized, dried. They were sold in bulk. So then I told my mom, I want to start my own business in San Francisco, and I just want to focus on dates. And my mom said, oh, no, you're going to bring shame on the family. We came to this country so you can be a doctor, a lawyer. Now you're becoming a merchant. I said no, So then I started partnering up with farmers. I became a member of California Certified Organic Farmers, shortened for CCOF. And the company was established back in 2007. And that's when I think that's what gave me the edge, is to market dates that are certified organic.
Yes.
And then work with smaller farmers, and they would pack under our brand. It was kind of a model, like it wasn't really done 15 years ago. There were some, retailers doing it, but as far as like a distributor finding a way to go from point A to point B without having a lot of overhead, that was kind of, I think, my selling point. Not to compare myself to Amazon. Amazon would, drop ship stuff from people. They would sell books from people's homes directly to end users. And so at that point, I was thinking I can have products packed at the farm level, and then I can sell it to retailers and distributors directly from the farm, and bypass all the middle stuff. And I think that's where the company grew, by having that model, having close relationship with farmers, and then going San Francisco to places like Berkeley Bowl or Rainbow Grocery.
Huge historically famous grocery stores,
right?
Right?
And then that's what's beautiful at San Francisco. Somebody can walk in like me and talk to the owner of Berkeley Bowl. God bless his soul. He passed away, I think, last year. And then he would say, yeah, man, like, I want your product. You can't do that in LA, or you can't do that. I mean, I'm not trying to be ignorant, but most places you go, you cannot just,
You can't access the owner like that.
You can't access the owner. I think that's what the niche about San Francisco is. It's like people come here with so many ideas, and there is that trust. There is that sort of, they root for the underdog. In some way, like, they want to see that, that kid. I really felt like supported, probably leaving a bunch of names of retailers that, were supportive of us, but
when you get your Academy Award, you can write the speech first.
Yes.
You can put all the names in. You don't have to do it now.
Thanks coming later.
Yeah. Everybody knows you're great. I can see the gratitude on your face.
Thank you for saying that. No, I feel blessed, really blessed.
I bet. I guess the reason you were able to recognize the market sort of availability for dates in the Bay Area is because of your family business and the fact that your mom was sort of doing this.
She was doing
already?
it in LA on a small scale, but yeah, it was kind of, yeah.
Was she going to farmers too?
I think she was buying from other distributors. I went direct to the farmers. I just kind of wanted to do it the professional way and just have a system, not just kind of sell a little bit of this, a little bit.
So you grew up obviously eating the dates from in Iran and then even here. And then also you saw the little bit of trade that your mom was kind of doing on the side.
Right. But, like, you learn to speak different languages, like I know how to read Arabic. I could speak a little Hebrew. I speak Spanish a little bit. And I think just growing up in Iran, you had to like kind of connect with different peoples always. So that was kind of my way. Like, I think I like sales. I like something I believe in. I'm passionate. I can really introduce it to someone. So, and I think, when I have like a meeting with a buyer, they said, oh, do you need to get ready for it? I said, I don't. Because it's in me. And if I get ready for it, it's not authentic. So I think, and that's where I try to meet people, not just with sales. It's just with everything I do is like, you do want to prep a little bit, but sometimes you get caught in trying to present what you prep and you miss the moment of like where the connection happens.
Absolutely.
Very prescient. I've had that happen to me before.
Just like how you walked into this warehouse, like we were just talking, having coffee, and
had a little tour, get to know each other.
Yeah, because sometimes we get automated to like, okay, the curtains are up and we have to perform, but it's like, no, there's those little subtleties that I get to know you, you get to know me,
Where does the PhD in psychology fit in all of it?
It could hurt you or help you. Like when I'm like sitting in front of a big bar, he goes, "Oh, you have a PhD? Are you trying to like Are you trying to read my mind? Or are you trying to hypnotize me?" Yeah, in psychology, it's like you learn how to connect with people. I know I keep using that word, and I think that's what life is about. That's what sales about. So it helps you because sometimes like people come for a job interview, like as much as they're nervous, you're nervous too. So it's like learning how to like comfort someone into your home. So psychology has helped me, help really to get to know from their background, where they're at,
So you did 4 years of undergraduate work, and then how long for the PhD?
I did 4 undergrad, 3 years of master's, 2 years of PhD.
Wow.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's one of those things. My daughter just started college. I mean, I think sometimes kids think they need to know what they want to do, but I think sometimes you get taught how to learn.
Right. Sometimes, like, some of my biggest role models, they're like, they got a degree in law and they're doing restaurants, or they dropped out of college. It's risky, you know, because you spend all the time, money. But people say you stop practicing psychology. I said, no, that's something in me. That's something, it's on autopilot, you know?
Well, and education, I believe in any education is a good education. Right. Right. I mean,
Right.
Back to a little more locally here. So you're wholesaling to big companies, but then to some smaller companies too? Or can you give us a little bit more information about that?
Like locally within like the 2-mile radius, we sell to Andy's Market. We sell to United Market seasonally. Sprouts, they're our biggest national account, Sprouts Farmers Market. We ventured into department stores, like we're at TJ Maxx, Marshalls, and Home Goods. I know people think like, why selling dates? But you know, you'd imagine they have a little snack grocery section.
They really get you in the little aisles,
Right,
the checkout
right,
aisles, and you.
right.
Oh, you've been there before, Kalina?
It happens to be my favorite
Right.
branch of shopping.
Nice. So you might see our dates
I
there.
have had them before.
Oh, thanks.
And there's a shelf life, right? I mean, dates are...
They're very shelf stable. They have a high sugar content, which acts
stable.
Yes, they act as a preservative, natural sugar. And so we're new to Marin. We're trying to connect with, you know, different local stores here, but you know, we're still trying to kind of get settled in and before we go further. But yeah, we're...
So the warehouse will have been open a year, but your business is older than that.
Right. So the business started 15 years ago. This is our first time owning a warehouse. Before we would kind of like subcontract with other warehouses, but this gives us a chance to, you know, have more control over quality. I think the whole warehouse idea came once when I felt like I found home in Marin. Because like I was always this like whirling Daryoush. This is like just kind of like, you know, going to live different places and then move to Marin, San Rafael specifically. And I felt like this is my new home. I think being a member of my synagogue, that was a big experience. I never had my bar mitzvah. I'm not sure if you know what that is.
I do. I've been to a few.
So I had my bar mitzvah last year.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
With like some other 13-year-old kids?
No. I think I'm a bit of a diva. I had it all
sharing.
I wasn't all. Yeah, I'm not going to share. It's my big day.
I guess most kids don't share, right? They do it one.
Some do. I think the best thing happened to me was COVID hit, and I was working from home, and I had like 1 to 2 hours of extra, and then you know, give me a chance to play Legos with my kids or listen to Katy Perry constantly with my daughter, or just like, you know, play Star Wars games with my son, and then I realized. You know, I was never bar mitzvah because I was 12 when I left Iran. Came here, I was 13. It was survival mode. So I learned Hebrew in 6 months, how to read Hebrew. That's actually my certificate of my bar mitzvah, so you know I'm not lying to you. Yeah, I'm a member of Kol Shofar Synagogue. And so the synagogue is what helped me to feel at home because I felt like amongst people and felt love. And then I had my bar mitzvah there. And then just, I liked how diverse San Rafael is compared to other parts of Marin. My neighbors, you know, live in a great area. So then I just said, you know what's like using Star Wars, the Falcon spaceship needs to land here where George Lucas, you know, was.
Yes, and you were telling us, I think, maybe before we really got started, that the warehouse that you're in was formerly occupied by Lucasfilms.
Right. It was, this warehouse I'm sitting at one point was owned by ILM. Industrial Light Magic, George Lucas. He had several of these warehouses. When we go into our electric room, there's like a grid of, you know, ILM people and how they communicate. There's a lot, like there's a little historical facts in this warehouse. Every once in a while, like I run into like stuff that I imagine George Lucas touched or these guys did.
And that bar mitzvah that you did, congratulations.
Thank you.
By the way, Mazel Tov.
Okay, thank you.
Your son is about to do that now?
Yeah, so he's doing his I'm actually helping him with his bar mitzvah part, and he has a teacher too. He's doing it at the same synagogue. And I was just asked to join the board of directors of the Kol Shofar Synagogue.
Wow.
So I'm learning how to take more leadership roles and give back to the community.
You're really become enmeshed in the
I have.
in the county.
Yeah, when I first moved from LA to here, it was hard for me because I have a huge family in LA. I was like, the minority here, like being an Iranian Jew. There's not that many. But I think what's nice about Marin is it's the people are open and hungry to learn. Just kind of how you made the effort to come here today and learn about me. That's just kind of like, I felt really welcomed here. And so this is my new home. I mean, as much as I go back to LA, visit family. But yeah, I think this is kind of this is where we are.
And I know that you located in a part of San Rafael that you yourself described as ethnically diverse, which I think is one of the really cool things about East San Rafael. But have you encountered anything about Marin that wasn't welcoming?
I'm sure I've had,
I mean, I hope not, but I think it's a question that's worth asking.
Or maybe too, it's out there. I've seen it, but I've always find a way, even with those people, to find a way to share something that's, educate myself about them.
Marin County has a really large Jewish community. Obviously, you said you felt a little isolated, maybe being an Iranian Jew.
I think I came here thinking I am, amongst a few, but I was amongst a bigger, and I just had to discover it and also feel comfortable about sharing about my past. Because my experience came with that. My synagogue, they asked me, share about your upbringing and how you, kind of what I shared with you earlier. And once when I did that, like the entire congregation, I felt like held. And then so it kind of opened up this new me saying, like, I feel like I need to open up more and either help readjust people's stereotype or readjust my own stereotype, because there are Jews here. And I was thinking we're not, because I'm what they call a Mizrahi Jew, Middle Eastern Jew, and these are Ashkenazi Jews. But I felt nothing but love. And
almost makes me think that's it. Like there's nothing else. It's really powerful. It's really powerful. How do you bring that feeling of being held back here to your business?
Being generous, taking the first step, welcoming people, giving back to community. I mean, we've hired people here from the canal. We see canal as a big blessing, how close it is to us. You hear people refer to canal with different ways. I just feel it's a blessing because, it's how hard, these people work. You see them every morning. This is a working class neighborhood.
It's also really culturally rich.
Right. It's sort of, I have my Anthony Bourdain experiences eating at different food trucks.
Oh, completely.
I think people think San Rafael in Marin, it's like San Rafael. I actually think it's cool. I think San Rafael is like, it's more real. You know what I mean? Like we send our kids to public school because we want them when they go to college, they're not shocked.
Absolutely.
We try to outreach to families during COVID that couldn't afford private tutor. These kids, one of them came from the canal to our house, and we would, not to brag about ourselves, but we make sure like he got educated. Or even with my kids, when you have birthdays, you see the demographics at these birthdays. You're like, dude, like the school is all these like different demographics. How come they're not coming to these birthdays? Sometimes like the guy who pulls the alarm, maybe a little too much,
The world needs that.
It's okay. Some of us are a little louder than others. It's okay.
Yeah, it's sounded like, the elephant in the room. Getting more involved. I mean, I'm also on the board of directors of the HOA at my neighborhood. It's nice that people ask you to join. I'm like, I'm kind of crazy, It's like, I'm not your typical suit tie kind of guy, but I think people, especially San Rafael, they know how to recognize someone who wants to contribute, and they give you the platform, even though, you're not the typical guy. That's kind of how it feels.
You're authentic. I can see that just in the last half an hour.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
really interesting, and it's a really interesting business. So I can't walk in your warehouse and buy dates.
I'll hook you up. You don't need to buy.
Wait. We were joking before about all the puns around dates. I want you to hook me up with the kind I can eat.
Right, definitely.
That's all.
You're tricky. I set myself up, or you
kind of did.
Yeah,
Or
I
maybe
threw
I
you
set
up.
you up.
Well,
I didn't mean to
when
say
we were
it.
researching, I was like, go to shopdates.com. She was like, what?
Yes. I think you threw me an alley hoop. Maybe I don't.
You just said I set you up on a date.
Yeah, so there's different slogans. Want a date? Have you been on? Yeah, so
And if people want to learn more about your business,
for sure. UnitedWithEarth.com. Also, you can buy our product from shopdates.com. We're also on Amazon. So
Okay. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
As you heard from Daryoush, United with Earth's products are online or in a number of our local grocery stores. Our conversation today brings us to 18 episodes in the first season of the We Are One Marin podcast series, and I'm moved to reflect a little bit about the people we've met along the way. Daryoush embodies what we set out to find at the beginning of this podcast. Kalina and I go out and hear and then share with you the stories of our neighbors, and we've been humbled by the champions in our community. Remember Bishlam on 4th Street in San Rafael? Or Felicia in Marin City? How about Frank at Wink in San Anselmo? Or our first guest, forever in our hearts, Jaime? At this point in our journey, we've connected with so many people who have encountered racism in many different forms and actually been willing to talk about it. I am grateful for their honesty. We look forward to furthering the conversation this season and beyond. The Marin Community Foundation generously sponsors this podcast. Our theme music is performed by a student at Enriching Lives Through Music. Elm is in San Rafael's Canal neighborhood. Finally, a reminder to support diverse local businesses and shop Marin.